It's the 15th of September 2025. This is Primetime News on Newsfirst, bringing you the bulletin tonight for the Newsfirst team. I am Janma Ratnayaka.
And I am Hashini Patirano. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Modernization of the Peta Central Bus Stand and Maradana Railway Station commences. MetLab found in Mayurapura, Hambantota. Writ petition filed by councils of Sampath Manamperi implicated in the mid-Denia ice chemical raid, stating he is ready to surrender to courts. Investigations aiming SLPP representatives. Party secretary accuses police. No revenge, only fulfilling the people's mandate. NPP MP Suravira responds. Energy Minister explains latest developments at the CEB. 2000 rupee commemorative currency to be gradually released into circulation, says Central Bank. In our top story for tonight, the project to modernize the Colombo Central Bus Stand was launched this morning, led by President Anurakkumara Dissanayake. Implemented in line with the Clean Sri Lanka initiative, the government has allocated 425 million rupees for this project.
This is the first time in 60 years that the Colombo Central Bus Stand has been completely closed for a full-scale redevelopment, transforming it into a modern bus terminal with all facilities. The Colombo Central Bus Stand was constructed in 1964 by the Sri Lanka Transport Board as a main hub. Around 2,000 daily bus services operate through the Central Bus Stand, including both Sisusario and Gamisario. Due to insufficient maintenance over the years, passengers, drivers and their assistants have faced numerous difficulties, which will now be addressed with this modernization. The project is being implemented with planning and hands-on support from the Sri Lanka Air Force. Under this project, rest areas for drivers and assistants, resting spaces for the general public and modern sanitation facilities will be installed.
මේ බස් ස්ටෑන්ඩ් එක ඇතුළුව කොළඹ බහුවිධ ප්‍රවාහන මධ්‍යස්ථාන ගණනාවක් ගොඩනගන්නත් අපි දැනට
We are currently planning to build several multimodal transport hubs in Colombo, including this bus stand. Next year, we will begin constructing 15 multimodal transport hubs that will combine all three services: trains, buses and taxis in one location, funded through next year's budget. However, we are not certain if we can complete them within the same year. Our long-term plan is to have at least 50 such multimodal transport hubs across Sri Lanka by 2029, so people can access transportation conveniently in one place, nearby and in an organized manner. Today, as part of this program, we are modernizing the Colombo Central Bus Stand, considering the needs of the general public, especially women, the elderly, the disabled and breastfeeding mothers, guided by values of our Clean Sri Lanka initiative. We hope to modernize the bus stand following those values.
ඒ සාරධර්ම පද්ධතියත් මත තමයි අත්‍තරම අපි මෙතන බස් නැවතුම්බල නවීකරණය කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ.
The President attended the inauguration of the Colombo Central Bus Stand modernization project and also conducted an inspection tour of the premises. In line with the Clean Sri Lanka initiative, the Maradana Railway Station modernization project, carried out under the Dream Destination program, was inaugurated this morning under the leadership of President Anurakkumara Dissanayake. This initiative is part of a broader national program aimed at modernizing 100 railway stations across the country. The key objective of this project is to create a clean, safe and beautiful railway station system that ensures comfort and accessibility for all passengers, including those with special needs. Following the inauguration, the President also inspected the Maradana railway station, engaging in a walkthrough of the premises. Additionally, a new Sinhala computer font named Ruhunu Kumari, developed exclusively for the Department of Railways, was introduced during the event with the President in attendance.
නව දුම්රිය මාර්ග ගණනාවකට රජයේ මුදල් වෙන් කළා තිබෙනවා. එකක් තමයි වැදගත්ම දෙයක් තමයි
The government has allocated funds for several new railway lines. One of the most important is the double tracking of the Polgahawela to Kurunegala line. Plans to develop the Avisawela railway line is also underway. As the President mentioned, if we move towards solar and wind energy for electricity generation, we will have a significant electricity surplus during the day. This excess power should be directed toward large-scale industries, and rail transport is an ideal sector for this. Simply put, if our trains run on electricity and if we can harness renewable energy to power them, this would benefit both the electricity sector and help us protect the environment. In the coming years, we are working toward electrifying the railway system.
අපි එලෙක්ට්‍රිෆිකේෂන් එකට යන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා ඊළඟ වසර කිහිපය තුලදී.
The Kalatara Criminal Investigation Division raided a crystal methamphetamine manufacturing lab operating within a tourist lodge in Hambantota. The raid was carried out following the interrogation of a suspect named Amilipite Suranga, who is believed to be an associate of organized criminal Panadura Nilanga, who is currently in remand custody.
A house located in Mayurapura Hambantota had been used as a tourist lodge for some time. During the interrogation of Ambilipitiya Suranga, who was arrested last week by the Kalutara Crime Division, information was revealed about one of his close associates. Subsequently, the associate of Ambilipitiya Suranga was also arrested in Panadura. The arrested suspect is a 20-year-old resident of Vallavaya. The suspect was later produced before the Panadura Magistrates Court and was detained for 7 days for questioning. Based on information revealed during this questioning, the police raided the tourist lodge in Hambantota. Police stated that 15 cans, each containing 4 liters of chemicals suspected to be used for manufacturing ice, along with filter paper, were found at the location. It was revealed that a room in the house had been converted into a laboratory and 3 Iranian nationals had resided there to produce the drug. Investigations further uncovered that these 3 Iranian nationals arrived in Sri Lanka on the 20th March and departed on the 10th April. Later, one of them had returned on the 20th August and left the country once again on the 3rd September. Police investigations revealed that the house used for the production facility had been rented. A car was also seized from the premises, and police confirmed it belonged to another organized criminal named Sanka, who is currently hiding in Dubai. The name of the current owner of this car, which was registered in 2020, is Sanka Sampath Piris. Sanka is an accomplice of Salindu Malshita, alias Kudu Salindu, and police suspect that Panadura Nilanga acquired this car from Kudu Salindu some time ago. Police further revealed that this car had been seized in 2021 along with 52 kilograms of heroin. It was taken into custody on the Southern Expressway along with a sub-inspector of police. Police confirmed that the heroin transported at the time belonged to Salindu Malshita, alias Kudu Salindu.
What is the latest status of the investigation into the chemicals found in Midenia?
Following the interrogation of Kehil Badra Padme, Bako Saman and Panadura Nilanga, members of organized crime groups arrested in Indonesia and brought to Sri Lanka under detention orders, the police inspected a land plot in Midenia. A stock of material suspected to be used for manufacturing ice was discovered there, and samples were tested by the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board. The board confirmed that 17 out of the 20 samples contained the drug ice. The chairman of the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board, Dr. Indika Vaninayaka, sent a letter today to the Director General of Government Information confirming these findings. Quote,
Tests have confirmed that 17 out of the 20 samples taken contain the dangerous drug methamphetamine or ice, which is listed under the Poisonous, Opium and Dangerous Drugs Amendment Act number 41 of 2022 and the Convention Against Illicit Traffic in Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act number 1 of 2008.
Unquote.
Were the containers found in Midenia inspected by the Sri Lanka Customs?
Customs spokesperson Chandra Punchiheva said today that the 2 containers found in Midenia had been released following an inspection by Customs and the Police Narcotics Bureau in January. He said the inspection was carried out jointly with the Police Narcotics Bureau based on information received at the time. Customs records indicate that the 2 containers contained talc stones and talc powder. The Customs spokesperson emphasized that his department cannot be responsible for the contents of containers once they leave Customs premises. Legal counsel representing former Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna local government candidate Sampath Manamperi informed the Court of Appeal today that their client is prepared to surrender to the Magistrates Court in connection with the recent raid in mid-Denia. This announcement was made during the hearing of a writ petition filed by Manamperi's legal team, which was taken up before a bench comprising Justices Ruhanta Surya and Priyantha Fernando. The petitioner's counsel stated that the police are currently seeking to arrest Manamperi in relation to the discovery of 2 containers allegedly containing chemical substances used in the production of crystal methamphetamine, also known as ice, in the Mid-Denia area. The counsel further revealed that Manamperi's brother, Piyal Manamperi, has already been arrested and held under detention order and later remanded, while their 78-year-old father has been released on bail. It was also alleged that Piyal Manamperi was subjected to severe physical abuse while in custody. The counsel emphasized that Sampath Manamperi is willing to fully cooperate with the investigation and surrender to the appropriate magistrates court. However, there are concerns that he may be subjected to similar mistreatment following his arrest. The counsel assured the court that his client is ready to disclose all relevant information to the authorities. After considering the submissions, the Court of Appeal directed the Inspector General of Police to take all necessary measures to ensure the safety of Sampath Manamperi during the investigation process. The court also instructed the IGP to inform the investigating officers under his command to guarantee the petitioner's protection. The next hearing on the petition has been scheduled for the 16th October.
What is the SLPP's stance on the investigation into the Manamperi brothers? Piyal Manamperi, who is currently in custody in connection with the Mid-Denia ice drug incident, is a former Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna member of the Agunakola Palasa Pradeshya Sabha. His brother, Sampath Manamperi, was a candidate contesting from the SLPP in the local government elections.
පොලිසිය සෝදිසි වරෙන්තු වලින් තොරව විරුද්ධවාදී දේශපාලනඥයින්ගේ
The police are raiding the homes of opposition politicians without search warrants. Just last week, police broke into the home of the former chairman of the Alpitiya Pradeshya Sabha without a warrant. They're also intimidating our activists by raiding their homes without proper court orders. There's a suspicion that police are planting drugs or other items in these homes only to return later and use them to create problems for our supporters and associates. Therefore, we urge the Inspector General of Police to control his officers. Do not allow police to be used for political purposes in this manner. What you are doing is bringing great disrepute to the police service, making it a tool for politics and operating without any moral integrity. The 2 containers of ice producing chemicals that this government imported, the attempt to maliciously place the blame for them on Namal Rajapaksa has now backfired on the government. The National Dangerous Drugs Control Board now stating that these containers contained the chemical elements necessary to produce the drug ice. The public is now facing a major issue. Previously, under the former government, the largest drug seizures were of a few kilograms hidden by individuals or brought in by boat. However, under this JVP Renaissance government, it has been proven with evidence for the first time in Sri Lanka that drugs are being imported by container load. They themselves have announced that they will open drug factories. How did the police give permission for these 2 drug containers to be released? Who is connected to this? Which government officials and which factions of the government gave the orders for this to happen? Please come forward and reveal this to the public. Many former Inspector Generals of Police ended up in prison in the past. We do not want to see you in prison after you retire.
අපි කැමති නැහැ ඔබතුමා විශ්‍රාම ගිය දවසක ඔබතුමා හිරගෙවල් වල ඉන්නවා දකින්න.
What is the response of the National People's Power? These are the comments made by Member of Parliament Devananda Suravira today.
අපේ රට විනාශ කරපු පාතාලය සහ මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය සම්බන්ධ කාරණා
The issues of the underworld and drugs have destroyed our country. The people have given the National People's Power a mandate to address this, and we have taken action. We will not stop this fight until we transform our country into one free from poisonous drugs. We are currently identifying politicians with ties to the underworld and those around them, especially the drug supply chain, and we are gathering and receiving information to eradicate these poisonous drugs from our country. The National People's Power is laying the groundwork for renaissance. The public is rallying against dangerous drugs, and we are working to identify and eliminate underworld gangs, including the vulgar political culture that is destroying our country. So it is very clear that the future will be beautiful and our country will be rich. This is no longer a debatable topic. The people and various institutions are working well with us. Our adversaries will create different narratives and tell us various stories, but that doesn't matter to us because they know there is no longer a place for them in Sri Lankan politics. There is no room because when we are fulfilling the people's expectations, we will not give this power to a group that has used that power like crazy. That is the true reality.
කණ්ඩායමකට මේ බලය දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක තමයි ඇත්ත.
Newsfirst with the people. Newsfirst, main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD 10.25% for 15 months, 11% for 24 months. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
Case file. The Colombo High Court has scheduled for October 1st as the next hearing date in the high-profile case against former Health Minister Kelly Ramquella, his wife, 3 daughters and son-in-law, who are accused of illegally acquiring assets during his tenure in public office.
The case was called before High Court Judge Lanka, where the prosecution submitted several requested documents to the defence. The judge instructed the defence to notify the court within 2 weeks if additional documents are required and subsequently fixed the next hearing date. The individuals named in the case include the former Minister Kelly Ramquella, his wife, his 3 daughters and his son-in-law. The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption filed the case on the 26th of June.
Case file.
The Supreme Court of Sri Lanka has granted permission to proceed with an appeal filed by the parents of 11 youth who were allegedly abducted and disappeared in Colombo and surrounding areas in 2008. The appeal challenges the Attorney General's decision to remove former Navy Commander Wasantha Karannagoda from the list of accused in the ongoing criminal case. The case was called before a bench comprising Justices Arjuna Vesekara and Sampath Wijeratne, who, after reviewing the submissions, allowed the appeal to be heard. The next hearing has been scheduled for the 30th January. The petitioners argue that Karannagoda was originally named as a suspect in a case filed in 2019 before the Colombo Permanent Trial at Bar, which involved 14 members of the Navy's intelligence unit. The charges relate to the alleged abduction and disappearance of the youth who were reportedly taken into custody and never seen again. According to the petitioners, the Attorney General's decision to remove Karannagoda from the case was made despite sufficient evidence against him. They claim the move is legally flawed and undermines the pursuit of justice for their missing children. The parents had previously filed an appeal with the Court of Appeal, which was dismissed. The current petition seeks to overturn that dismissal and reinstate Karannagoda as a respondent in the case.
Namal Rajapaksa, the national organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramana, recently expressed his opposition to the President's Entitlements Repeal Bill, which is aimed at revoking certain privileges granted to former presidents. However, he did not vote against the bill when it was presented in Parliament. Today, MP Namal Rajapaksa expressed his views when questioned about this inconsistency.
මලනික ලේබල් කරගෙන කියනවා මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂව ගෙදරින් එලවන්න ගහපු කෙටුම්පතම පතමින් පාර්ලිමේන්තු මේක අඩුමානේ ඔබතුමා මේ ඒකට සම්බන්ධව විරෝධත්වය ප්‍රකාශ කරනොත් ඒකට ගියේ නැහැ. ඔබතුමා රට බලන කතාව කොහොමද කාරණාව එහෙම.
මම සතුටු වෙනවා ඒ අය.
I'm actually glad they admitted the truth because at first I thought this bill was being introduced to remove privileges for all former presidents. But now it is clear the real aim was to target Mahinda Rajapaksa specifically to strip his privileges and evict him from his official residence. If the government thinks it can now celebrate by saying we've removed Mahinda Rajapaksa's privileges and kick him out of his house, so we've won, let them celebrate. But we are getting ready, stronger than ever, building our political movement at the grassroots level and preparing for what's next.
ගම්මට්ටමින් අපි සූදානම් වෙනවා.
කොළඹට ආයෙ එනවා කියන කතාව කියන. මාධ්‍යවල දන්නවා. එන්නන්න පුළුවන් මේකට තියෙනවා බලෙන් ගත්ත ගෙවල්.
බලෙන් ගත්තු ගෙවල් කෙසේ වෙතත් අපේ
There were so many claims about properties supposedly taken by force. For example, they said Dhammika Pereira's house at the Dubai Marriott belonged to Namal Rajapaksa. Any big hotel in Colombo, they said it was Namal Rajapaksa's. Any luxury house in the city, that too was labelled as Namal Rajapaksa's. Over the years, our names were attached to so many properties. Most of them we had never even seen. But when investigations were actually carried out, not a single one turned out to be ours. Why? Because the real owners have now come forward, exposing the false claims. The government can humiliate us, but the facts tell a different story. Now, if the government has removed President Mahinda Rajapaksa and other former presidents from their official residences, that's fine. It's done. But the next step should be to return those benefits to the people. As for us, we'll look after our father, we'll continue our political journey.
අපේ තාත්තා අපි බලා ගන්නම්. අපේ දේශපාලන අපි කරන්නම්.
Was the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa specifically targeted when limiting privileges of former presidents? These were the views expressed by Deputy Minister Mahinda Jayasinghe regarding the matter in Vattala today.
අපි මේක මේ
This wasn't a decision we made after coming into power. Even before the presidential election on the 21st September and again before the general election on the 14th November, we clearly stated in our election manifesto that we would abolish certain privileges granted to politicians and former presidents. Suspending pensions and special benefits for MPs was also one of our key promises. Everyone has been asking us if we have fulfilled the promises we made. This is us fulfilling those promises one by one. So when we follow through on what we said, there's no reason to complain or criticize.
පොරොන්දිටු කරනකොට කෙඳිරි ගන්න එපා. අපි දැක්ක පහුගිය දවස්වල තියෙන මහින්දට ගෙවල් පොකුරක් කියලා. එතකොට දැන් මේකත් එක පැත්තකින් බලනකොට සමහරට අල්ලස් දීමක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේමයි අපිට
The truth is, you can't make some people see reason, no matter what you say. And unfortunately, there are still people like that left in this country. I saw a person riding a motorcycle to Tangol making all sorts of ridiculous claims. What kind of nonsense is that? On top of that, I saw multiple YouTube channels claiming that Mahinda Rajapaksa owns a mansion worth 400 million rupees in Colombo. No one has stepped forward to clearly deny it either.
ඒක නැහැ කියලා කවුරක්වත් කියලා නැහැ.
Minister of Energy Kumar Jayakodi says that no employee's service will be put at risk through the new Electricity Act. He points out that the 4 newly established companies are fully owned by the Treasury.
The Minister of Energy had called a media briefing today to respond to allegations by trade unions in the power sector against a backdrop where the employees at the CEB have announced they would intensify the work to rule campaign currently in effect. The employees had launched trade union action on the 4th of this month, primarily demanding solutions for 24 demands, including problems arising from the CEB's restructuring process. Several trade unions, including the CEB Independent Workers Union, Pudujana Progressive Workers Union and the Engineers Union are participating in this trade union action. Prabhat Shriyantha, Chief Secretary of the CEB National Workers Union, stated that the unions will escalate their actions starting from midnight today. According to the Electricity Act, in effect since the 27th of August, the CEB has been restructured into 4 separate entities. Employees are expected to be assigned to these 4 companies. Letters regarding voluntary placement in these companies were issued to employees yesterday.
ප්‍රධාන ආයතන 4කට වෙන් කරලා තියෙනවා.
The 4 main companies have been established: generation, transmission, distribution and system operations. Around 23,000 employees of the CEB serve across these 4 entities. We have issued notices for employees to be assigned to these 4 companies accordingly. Each of these companies is fully owned by the government, with shares held by the Treasury. They were registered under the Companies Act of 2007. Employees were given 2 months to provide their response, whether in agreement or objection, or without providing any response. Currently, there is a retirement fund, a contributory retirement fund and a DP fund for employees. There is also a trustee fund company that has been established, but employees are not being assigned to that institution. Only employees of the 4 main companies which are licensed holding institutions under the Public Utilities Commission are being assigned. Therefore, no employees' job security or benefits will be negatively affected. We have informed employees that they will be absorbed by these companies moving forward. Those who do not wish to join have the option to voluntarily exit. This option is provided based on legal requirements. We intend to place employees into a scheme that is more beneficial than the existing provident arrangements. The decision is entirely voluntary and based on employee consent. Nowhere are we forcing anyone to leave. Employees are provided the choice to do so voluntarily in accordance with legal requirements.
මේ කොහේදීවත් අපි පොළඹවන්නේ නැහැ සේවකයන්ව ඉවත් වෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ කැමැත්තට ඉඩ දීලා තියෙනවා නීතිමය අවශ්‍යතාවය මත.
In your weather update tonight, the Department of Meteorology has issued a heat advisory warning of high temperatures across several regions of Sri Lanka. According to the department, the statement released today at 3:30 p.m. will remain in effect until tomorrow. The advisory notes that the heat index, that is the temperature felt on human body, is likely to increase up to caution level at some places in northern, north central, eastern and northwestern provinces and in Colombo, Gampaha, Hambantota and Monragala districts. Now moving on to more local news, the central bank says that the 2000 rupee commemorative note issued last month to mark its 75th anniversary is being gradually released into circulation through licensed commercial banks. Issuing a statement, the central bank noted that in order to facilitate the smooth circulation of the note, licensed commercial banks are in the process of configuring their cash handling machines accordingly. Now, depending on the progress of this process, the new banknote will be integrated into circulation across all banking channels. In more local news, the launch of the School Disaster Risk Index and workshop on disaster risk assessment of the Sri Lankan school system was held in Colombo today. The School Disaster Risk Index is jointly developed by the Disaster Management Centre and the Ministry of Education. The new document, which is the result of a close collaboration between the Disaster Management Centre and the Ministry of Education, with financial support from APAD Sri Lanka, aims to systematically assess and mitigate risks within Sri Lankan schools.
Schools are not only the places of learning, they are also safe spaces where our children grow, dream, and prepare for the future. Safeguarding these spaces is therefore a national responsibility. The School Risk Index produced by the Disaster Management Centre to meet the requirement of the Ministry of Education for all schools in Sri Lanka is a landmark initiative. It will allow us to specially systematically assess the risk, identify vulnerabilities and take preventive action to ensure safety of our schools and well-being of our children. This achievement is the result of close collaboration between the Disaster Management Centre and the Ministry of Education with the generous financial support of the APAD Sri Lanka.
There are multiple advantages of the document which is coming out today. We have to ensure that this document becomes an institutionalized document among the schools, among businesses around, and among the communities also. What happens with this document is we have the educational reforms which are coming up, which the Prime Minister is leading, and there is merging of some schools. This again could be a document which could be read, understood, and see the safety of the school in terms of merging, one. Two, in terms of carrying out the infrastructure of the schools for education examinations, whether for the Commission of Elections who uses for elections, how this infrastructure is accessible, how safe it is, and I think this is a tremendous tool in terms of how we use for our safety and security.
The School Disaster Risk Index will enable authorities to identify vulnerabilities and take preventive action to ensure the well-being of every child.
A defence deal to be signed this week could see Papua New Guineans serve in the Australian military, a pact that can be seen as an attempt to counter Beijing's rising Pacific influence. The fresh defence agreement will be signed by Prime Ministers Anthony Albanese and James Marape on Wednesday in Port Moresby, part of celebrations to mark 50 years of Papua New Guinea's independence from Australia.
Australian Defence Minister Richard Marles described the deal as historic. The agreement follows an overarching security agreement signed between the two countries in 2023. Australian media said the deal would enable Papua New Guinea nationals to serve in the Australian Defence Force with the same pay as the other members and start a pathway to citizenship. Papua New Guinea's Defence Minister Billy Joseph said the deal promotes regional security. Perched less than 200 kilometers from Australia's northernmost border, Papua New Guinea is the largest and most populous state in Melanesia. China has committed billions of dollars to Pacific nations over the past decade, funding hospitals, sports stadiums, roads and other public works. It is an approach that appears to be paying dividends. Solomon Islands, Kiribati and Nauru have all severed diplomatic ties with Taiwan in favor of China in recent years. Canberra has stepped up its engagement with the region in a bid to counter Beijing's influence. The 2025 Emmy Awards saw adolescents scoop up 6 awards, including Best Limited or Anthology Series. Owen Cooper became the youngest ever male winner in any acting category with his Supporting Actor win. Let's take a look.
Welcome to the 77th Emmy Awards. You know, it's not a big one like 75 or 80, but it's the one they gave me.
The 2025 Emmy Awards saw adolescents, The Studio, The Pit and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert among the 9's big winners. Seth Rogen won 4 Emmys for The Studio, including Best Comedy Series and Best Actor. He also won Best Directing with Evan Goldberg and shared his Best Writing honours with Goldberg, Peter Haig, Alex Gregory and Frida Perez. The Pit won 3 Emmys, including Best Drama Series. Star Noah Weil won Best Actor in a Drama Series. In a surprise win, Catherine Lanasa won the Best Supporting Actress in a Drama Series for The Pit, beating out a group that included 4 stars of The White Lotus.
What a dream this has been. Oh my goodness. This is insane. Thank you so much to the Academy.
In another surprise, Jeff Hiller won the Best Supporting in a comedy series for Somebody Somewhere, beating out the likes of Harrison Ford, who was nominated for his first Emmy.
I feel like I'm going to cry because for the past 25 years I've been like, world, I want to be an actor, and the world's like, maybe computers.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert won Best Talk Series 2 months after CBS announced it was cancelling the series. He and his staff received a standing ovation.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert received 2 nominations this year. Accepting the Emmy on behalf of the team is Stephen Colbert.
Thank you, the children. Thank you for this honor.
Tremel Tillman became the first black man to win Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series for Severance. His co-star Brit Lover was named Best Actress in a Drama Series.
This is the first Emmy win and nomination for Brit Lauer.
Jean Smart took home the Best Actress in a Comedy Award for Hacks.
This is the 7th Emmy win and 14th nomination for Jean Smart, and her 4th win for her portrayal of Deborah Vance on Hacks.
Smart's castmate Hannah Einbinder won Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series.
Wow, thank you so much.
The Penguins' Kristen Milioti won Best Actress in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie.
Thank you.
The Traitors prevailed as Best Reality Competition Program, while Last Week Tonight with John Oliver won the Emmy for Best Writing for a Variety Series, as well as the award for Best Scripted Variety Series, beat out Saturday Night Live in both categories. However, SNL 50, the anniversary special, prevailed in the Best Variety Special Live category, bringing the show's overall wins to 112 wins and Lorne Michaels' personal haul to 22. Adam Randall won Best Directing for a Drama Series for Slow Horses.
Wow, that is unexpected. Thank you very much.
Also in the writing categories, Dan Gilroy won for Under Drama Series.
6-year-old twins are among 25 Palestinians killed in Israeli attacks on Gaza City this morning. At the same time, is Qatar hosting leaders of the Arab and Muslim world in Doha today to issue a joint response to Israel's attack on the capital last week.
The death toll from Israeli attacks across Gaza since dawn has gone up to 25, with 16 of them killed in Gaza City alone. The head of the agency, Filipe Lazzarini, says in the last 4 days, 10 UNRWA buildings in Gaza have been hit by Israeli forces. This includes 7 schools and 2 clinics currently used as shelters for thousands of displaced people. Foreign doctors who have volunteered in Gaza say that they have treated more than 100 children shot in the head or chest. Clear evidence, they urge, that Israel is deliberately targeting minors. Several leaders from Muslim and Arab countries have been arriving in Doha over the last 2 days for the summit. Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim arrived last night along with Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, Djibouti's President Ismail Omar, as well as Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas also reached Doha. Mohammed Al-Menfi, chairman of Libya's Presidential Council, will represent his country at the conference. Mauritania's President Mohamed Ould Ghazouani arrived on Saturday. Turkish media have reported that President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is also making his way to Doha. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian has urged Muslim countries to cut ties with Israel. In May 2025, US President Donald Trump signed a landmark agreement with Qatar to generate an economic exchange worth at least $1.2 trillion. During the visit, Trump announced economic deals totaling more than $243.5 billion between the United States and Qatar, including a historic sale of a Boeing aircraft and GE Aerospace engines to Qatar Airways.
The 2025 Asia Cup T20 cricket match between Sri Lanka and Hong Kong is currently underway in Dubai. Winning the toss, Sri Lanka invited Hong Kong to bat first. Currently, Sri Lanka is on 141 runs for the loss of 4 wickets in 18.5 overs, and you can catch the live action of the match from also on our website on www.sirasatv.lk. Moving on to more news in sports. In a world where many see obstacles, Khalid Osman sees a challenge. This is the story of a man who lost his sight but gained a new vision, one of pushing limits and proving that nothing is impossible. A celebrated Sri Lankan athlete, Khalid is ready to conquer the world.
Life is a journey, and in this journey we take different paths. And have you ever felt that you wanted to try something that you have never ever done before? Today's story is about a person who believes that nothing is impossible. He is Khalid Osman. He believes that if you are willing to do the work, you can achieve anything in life. He loves challenges. This story is about him.
ජීවිතේ කියන්නේ අභියෝගයක්. දවසෙන් දවස අභියෝගය ගොඩක් එනවා. කවදාවත් challenge එපා, give up කරන්න එපා. මටත් කලින් 2012 වෙනකන් ස්පේනියෙම තිබුණා. 2012න් පස්සේ තමයි මට පේන්නේ නැතු ගියේ. පේන්නේ නැතු ගියාට පස්සේ මම ගොඩක් දේවල් මගේ ජීවිතයේ අභියෝගවල මුණ දීලා ජයගත්තා. ඒ කියන්නේ මම මේ දුෂාබාද national cricket team එකේ මම දෙසරක් T20 World Cup represent කරලා තිනවා ලංකාව. ඒ වගේම Ironman events 4ක් කරලා තිනවා දැනට. ඒ කියන්නේ world එකෙන්ම දැනට මම තමයි 4ක් කරලා තියෙන්නේ දුෂාබාද කෙනෙක් වශයෙන්. ඒ වගේම මේ අවුරුද්දේ මම තව අලුත් දෙයක් කරා blind boxing. ගිය අවුරුද්දෙත් ගියා මේ අවුරුද්දෙත් ගියා අවුරුදු දෙකෙම ගිහලා gold medal දෙකක් අරන් ආවා ලංකාවට.
Khalid, a true challenger of limits, is ready to take on a new and tough challenge, the Ultra X Marathon in Jordan. This incredible journey spans 220 kilometers over 5 days, set against the unforgiving backdrop of a vast desert. 5 intense stages, tough conditions, each demanding more than the last, pushing the athlete's endurance to the edge. But Khalid is ready for it as well.
මේක අලුත් දෙයක් අත්දැකීමක් දුෂාබාද එක්කෙනෙක් කරලා නැහැ ලංකාවෙත් කරලා නැහැ ඒෂියා සවුත් ඒෂියාවේ කවුරුත් කරලා නැහැ. සාමාන්‍ය පේනික් කට්ටියත් ගිහිල්ලා කාන්තාර දුවනවා. ඒක දෙයක් වෙනයි. ගයිඩ් කෙනෙක් එක්ක මම දුවන්නේ යාගේ නම නදීක. එයා තමයි මේ දවස්ටි මාව ට්‍රේන් කරන්නේ. ඒත් එක්කම ලොකු චැලෙන්ජ් එකක්. මගේ ලයිෆ් එක ගන්න තව ලොකුම චැලෙන්ජ් එකක්. සාමාන්‍ය මගේ ගෝල් එක හැම අවුරුද්දෙම අලුත් දෙයක් කරන්න ඕනේදී. මේ අවුරුද්දේ මම කරන ලොකුම චැලෙන්ජ් එක තමයි මේ ඩෙසර්ට් රන් එක. කවදාවත් ජීවිත අභියෝගය එනකොට බය වෙන්න එපා. අනිවාර්යෙන් මේ අභියෝගය ජය ගන්න පුළුවන් හැමෝටම.
Alongside him, his guide Nadika Hiran will be by his side, supporting him through every step of this incredible tough journey.
මම 2022 සහභාගී වුණා මේ තරඟේ. ඒකෙදී තරඟකරුවන් 140කට වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක් ඉඳලා මට 35 වෙනිය විදිහට තරඟය අවසන් කරන්න හම්බුණා. ඉතින් මට හිතුණා මම ගත්ත එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එක මේ කලිට් වගේ කෙනෙක් එක්ක කරන්න ලැබුණොත් හොඳයි කියලා. මොකද කලිට් හැමතිස්සෙම අභියෝග
In a generation where people are giving up easily and sometimes complains about the smallest things, Khalid is an example that if you have the strength, if you have the determination, that you can achieve anything in life. He believes that if you are willing to do the work, that nothing is impossible. This is not just a story, it's an inspiration, it's an example for this generation. Reporting to you, I am Budmin Amartivakara for Newsfirst.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.